Greetings and salutations, everybody. Lord X here, coming to you with another episode of Static Screen, and today we are going to talk about Avengers Infinity War. It's taken me, a week to really try and gather my thoughts about what I really think about this movie, and just in general, without spoilers, I absolutely love it. I think it is the best movie that Marvel has done, and yeah, wow, they did a phenomenal job with this movie, and that's pretty much all I can say without going into spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, stop this video right now and go to your theater immediately and watch this film, because right now we're going into spoiler territory. Spoilers! Last warning, spoilers. Get out right now if you don't want to be spoiled on the movie. Okay, with that in mind, holy fuck, they actually did it. They did the one ending like everybody would joke about, saying, yeah, Thanos is going to win. He's going to kill off half of everybody in this movie, and that's how it's going to end. And holy fuck, that's exactly what happened, and I could not believe it. When you see that final scene of Thanos just sat down in his quiet little home, little farmland, he's just staring out at the sunset, and he's smiling, or sunrise, and yeah, he's won, and the credits start rolling, and it's like, holy shit, we did not get any, well, just wait moment like at the end of Batman v Superman, where you see the dirt rising from Superman's grave going, haha, guess what, it's not over yet. We didn't get that here at all until the after credit scene, which we can talk about in a bit. I'll get there, but yeah, this movie is just fantastic. And let's just go back like to the beginning of the film when it starts. The Marvel Studios logo thing coming up, no music, and near the end of it, we start hearing a distress call coming from the Asgardian ship that we see at the end of Thor Ragnarok. And yeah, Thanos has attacked. It's said later on by Thor that half of his people were killed, so there were some escapees, and it was confirmed by the Russo brothers, or one of them at least, that Valkyrie with some others got on escape pods and escaped. But we open up with the Asgardians mostly dead. Heimdall's like down in pain. Thor has just been knocked the hell out by Thanos. Loki is being held there by the Black Order. And yeah, Thanos is asking for the Tesseract, which Loki stole. Then we get the fight. The Hulk just appears out of nowhere, hits Thanos, and Thanos proceeds to beat the shit out of the Hulk so badly that he refuses to come back out of Banner for the rest of the film. Right at the very end, you're thinking, okay, Bruce is in the Hulkbuster armor, shit's gonna go down, Hulk's finally gonna bust out of that thing and kick some ass. No, he doesn't. He refuses to come out to the very end. He is just scared shitless after that first beating by Thanos, which shows you just how scary of a person Thanos is. And that's the one thing about him in this movie. You see him, you're scared. Like, we're told right away in that beginning scene that Thanos is a villain to be scared of, to be terrified of. And within the first 15 minutes of the movie, he's got two of the Infinity Stones. The Power Stone and the Space Stone, and yeah, shit goes down right away. Heimdall, before he is killed, manages to teleport the Hulk away. So, bam, right away, Heimdall is dead, the first casualty of the movie. Then Thanos just grabs Loki by the throat with the Infinity Gauntlet and snaps his neck. It is brutal sounding when he does it, and yeah, Loki's dead. And there we go. We just got the newest villain in the MCU kill one of the best villains in the MCU, Loki. So that is setting things in motion here for the rest of the film. I'm not going to go through the movie beat by beat. I'm going to jump around a bit. But then we go back to Earth and we see where the Hulk lands in the Sanctum Sanctorum with Doctor Strange and Wong there. And then Doctor Strange goes gets Tony. Banner reunites with Tony at that moment. And he's explaining the situation to him. Meanwhile, the Guardians were answering the distress call and they find Thor, and this is where one of the absolute best scenes in the movie is shown, where Thor and the Guardians interact and Drax is looking at Thor saying, "This is a man," and the Quillie's like, "You are a dude. This is a man." This is as if a pirate had a baby with an angel. And Star-Lord gets jealous. It's a great little interaction, great comedy. Star-Lord saying he's going to work you out. He's going to buy a Bowflex. He's going to start lifting dumbbells. And you hear casually from Rocky's like, "You know you can't eat dumbbells, right?" It's just so funny. And eventually that team splits up. Rocket and Groot go off with Thor to go forge a new weapon. Thor to Rocket, he just keeps calling him Rabbit, and there's one line where he says, "Sweet Rabbit." It's maybe the best line in the movie, or one of the best lines. We'll get to one of the better ones in a bit. But yeah, love that interaction. The comedy is on point in this movie, even though the movie it's scary, it's dark, it's depressing, especially at the end. What else did I love here? Yeah, the forging of the weapon was fantastic. They make Stormbreaker, which in the comics was the weapon given to Beta Ray Bill. So it's kind of cool that they use it this way. Will we ever see Beta Ray Bill? Maybe. I hope we do. He was kind of teased in Thor Ragnarok a little bit, but yeah. Let's see here. Thanos' story. The rest of the Guardians, after they split up, go to nowhere to go get the Reality Stone before Thanos, but he's already gotten it. He takes Gamora at that point, and after showing her that he has Nebula captured and torturing her, forces Gamora to go guide him to the Soul Stone. And this is where we got one of the biggest mark-out moments, at least for me in the movie, where they're on the planet Volmir, I believe it's called. Yeah, Vormir. I've seen the movie twice at this point, I should know. But they go there, and there's this Grim Reaper, those death thingies from Harry Potter looking type things just floating there, greets them. And it turns out that's the Red Skull. He's back, and oh man, I nearly jumped out of my seat when I saw him because I'm like, yes, he's still alive. I've been adamant since the very first Captain America movie that the Red Skull was just whisked away into space by the Space Stone. And I always have people say, he's dead. They've never brought him back. He never showed up in Winter Soldier or Civil War. He's long gone, but no, he was whisked away to this planet to live a life guarding and guiding people to the Soul Stone, a prize that even he could not have. That was fantastic. Love that moment. And the moment that followed from there too was both amazing and incredibly heartbreaking, because in order to get the Soul Stone, Thanos has to sacrifice what he loves most. As the Red Skull put it, a soul for a soul. And Gamora in this moment just laughs at him, taunts him, saying, you love nothing, you've gone this far and the universe is telling you no, you can't have it. And when Thanos turns around, he's crying. He's legit crying. And the CG here, which by the way, Thanos looks amazing. They did such a good job with how he looked, and the performance from Josh Brolin too was just another level of great, which turned Thanos into, a sympathetic villain here, really, where you can tell he knows what he has to do, but in his own weird way, he does love Gamora. And we saw a little flashback scene of where he first met Gamora and took her as his daughter. And you realize very quickly that he's going to sacrifice Gamora here. And like as he's crying, she taunts him like, "Are those tears? Are you crying?" And the Red Skull says, "Those tears aren't for him." And it dawns on her and everybody at that point that it's for her, and Thanos is about to kill her. And as a fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy, this was one of the moments that really hit hard for me. I love that character. I think Zoe Saldana has done an amazing job as Gamora. And to lose one of those characters was very rough, very heartbreaking. And as he's dragging her away, like towards the edge to throw her off, he's like, "Sorry, little one." Like, he doesn't want to do this, but he believes to his very core that he has to succeed with his mission. He has to do this in order to save the universe, to bring balance to the universe. And that what makes Thanos such like a fantastic villain, because he is clearly evil. He's psychotic, but at the same time, you have to kind of applaud his resolve in what he's doing. That he's willing to do whatever it takes to right this wrong that he sees in the universe. And it makes him a sympathetic villain, really. So, just a fantastic scene. The music that played here was really great. The first viewing of this really got to me, as I mentioned. So yeah, that scene alone was fantastic. And this plays out later too, when he goes back to Titan, where he encounters Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Spider-Man, and the rest of the Guardians, minus Rocket and Groot, who have gone off with Thor, obviously. And the interactions there on Titan, when the Guardians first meet Doctor Strange and him, that is fantastic. Where they're all like a little Mexican standoff, where Star-Lord's like, "Where is Gamora?" Tony's like, "Who is Gamora?" And Drax, Dave Bautista continues to be amazing as Drax. Some of the best humor in the movie. He goes, "I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora?" So good. Such a good interaction. And Doctor Strange is like, "What master do you serve?" And Star-Lord's like, "What master do I serve? What am I supposed to say? Jesus?" And they find out he's from Earth then, and they're the Avengers, and they know Thor. If they connect that way, it's really good. It's another great scene, and there's so many great scenes in this movie. Great character interaction from these characters that we haven't seen interact before. It's all so good. Let's see. Back on Earth, some of the Earth scenes where we have the Avengers, Captain America, Black Widow, and them going back to Avengers headquarters, meeting Rhodey. We see Thunderbolt Ross there again, who says arrest him. Rhodey ignores that, of course. Who seems to be, really regretting now the Sokovia Accords and signing those and seeing what has happened from that. So that's great. Banner reintroduces himself, going, "Hey guys, I'm back." They get the talking. They mention Ant-Man and Hawkeye there briefly. Black Widow saying Scott and Clint, couldn't mind his name there for a second, are under house arrest because everything was too hard on their families. Banner's like, who's Scott? And they're like, Ant-Man. And he's like, there's an Ant-Man and a Spider-Man, which really brings home like how long Banner has been away at this point, for like close to 3 years. So that's sorry about the sniffle there. So that's like fantastic interaction between them, and they take Vision to Wakanda to see if they can pluck the stone out of him. He is willing to like sacrifice his life then and there to save everybody, and Cap is like, we don't trade lives. Vision to him is like, well, what's so different? You sacrificed yourself 70 years ago to save millions of people. And Banner was like, he didn't have a choice, but it's possible that you do. And they say, like, you're not just the Mind Stone. You're a mixture of the Mind Stone, Jarvis, Ultron, Banner, and Tony all mixed together. And they're like, maybe we can separate the Infinity Stone and the best parts of you will still be around. Don't know how Ultron's the best part of him, but you know. But all this leads up to the battle at Wakanda, where the remainder of Thanos' Black Order, minus Ebony Maw, who got shot out into space thanks to Iron Man and Spider-Man, they're there with a whole army that you've seen, that we saw in the trailers leading up to this movie. Big battle going down, lots of really cool fighting, and yeah, this is a fantastic scene. Some of the best parts of this was when Scarlet Witch finally jumps down into the battle to save them from these like giant spinning wheels of death. Okoye, who plays Michonne on The Walking Dead, she's like, why was she up there all along? Because Scarlet Witch is like incredibly powerful, stops these blades and just sends them into the enemy forces. And meanwhile, Thor finally gets his axe from Peter Dinklage, who's a giant dwarf. So Thor manages to summon the Bifrost and open a portal to Earth, where himself, Groot, and Rocket on Thor's shoulder come out into the battle. Banner delivering one of the best lines. He's in the Hulkbuster. The helmet comes down. He's like, oh man, you guys are really screwed now. And Thor just goes to work, tearing things up. Rocket jumps into the battle, shooting everybody. There's this two fantastic little scenes here where Rocket and Bucky are like side by side, just shooting enemies. Bucky picks him up, spins him around as he's spinning around shooting, and Rocket's like, how much for the gun? It's not for sale. Okay. How much for the arm? And Bucky just like ignores him and goes off, and Rocket's like, I'll get that arm. That was a great moment. Thor and Captain America have this like little moment together where they're fighting. Cap's like, you got a haircut. Thor's like, you copied my beard. Or points over to Groot and says, this is one of my new friends, Tree. Groot, as usual, I am Groot. They focus on Captain America and he's like, I am Steve Rogers. Great line. Love that. So the battle goes on. Meanwhile, on Titan, they're fighting Thanos. Eventually, Thanos gets the upper hand on them. Nearly goes to kill Tony, which we get to hear the line from the trailer where he goes. Once thing is over, half of humanity will remain. I hope they remember you. So Thanos, he was respectful in a weird, crazy way to the heroes. And yeah, Doctor Strange gives up the Soul Stone, the Time Stone, which is weird because earlier he's like, I'll sacrifice you or the kid, Spider-Man, in order to protect this stone. But before that, he he looks into possible futures. He sees 14,604 or 634, I believe it was, future conclusions to the battle. And they're like, how many do we win? He's like, 1. And eventually he's like, this was the only way. We're in the end game now. So Thanos gets the time stone from them, instantly teleports over to Earth. At that point, Star-Lord's like, did we lose? It's like, oh shit. And that's where you really realize, like, holy crap. Could they really be doing the ending we thought they were? Yeah, we all joked that they would do, but never thought they would. Then Thanos arrives on Earth, and like the Avengers are just going after him. He's just like clobbering them down. He puts the Hulkbuster, phases the Hulkbuster into like a wall. He's just like slapping people away from him, just like brutally. Captain America comes in, gets a few good licks in, holds the Infinity Gauntlet with both hands. Seems like Thanos is like, huh. Look at that, and just like punches Captain America down onto the dirt. Wanda at this point is using her like weird magical energy to try and break the Soul Stone from Vision. She succeeds, it shatters, he explodes, and Thanos, calm as anything, like tries to relate with Scarlet Witch there in that point, saying like, I know how you feel. And then you get that holy shit moment of, he has the time stone. He just reverses back time. Vision comes back, and he just reaches into Vision and plucks the stone out, and Vision just collapses into a gray mess onto the ground, presumably dead as well. And Thanos has all the Infinity Stones now, and then out of nowhere, Thor just flings the axe Stormbreaker into him, hits him in the chest, comes down to, get a final word in saying, I told you I was going to kill you. And Thanos is like, you should have aimed for the head. And Thor's like, what? And we get the snap of the fingers, bright light. And then we see Thanos in this like weird red landscape, and in front of him is the child Gamora again, and she looks at him and says, did you do it? Yes. What did it cost? Everything. Then we go back to the scene on Earth, and he's looking at Thor, and he uses the Space Stone to warp the hell out of there. And the next time we see him, he's just, well, we'll get to that now in a second. Then we start seeing what happened, and the first result we see is Bucky trying to go towards Steve, and he's like, Steve, and he just collapses and like fades off, turns to dust in the air. And we slowly start to see this with the other heroes. Groot fading away, which for me was another really heartbreaking scene, because it really echoed back to the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, where, this is the second time Rocket has had to suffer through losing Groot, and this time there's nothing remaining to make a new Groot. So that's pretty rough. I thought that was one of the more heartbreaking scenes here. Black Panther tries to pick up Okoye. God, I cannot pronounce that. I'm horrible with names. And it's set up to the point where you think she's going to fade away, but he's the one that fades away. And half of the Wakandan warriors are all fading away. Scarlet Witch fades away. Falcon fades away. We're left on Earth with basically the original Avengers and Rocket Raccoon, who is the surviving member of the Guardians of the Galaxy, because while we saw Gamora die earlier, back on Titan we see Mantis, I believe, is the first one that fades away. Drax fades away, just saying like Quill, and he watches him go. And Quill starts feeling uneasy. Tony sees him, and Quill fades away going, oh man. And then we have the third gut punch here of Spider-Man, who very slowly fades away. He first goes like, Tony, I don't feel so good. Like grabs onto Tony, holding him, going, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Like, that is very hard. That is very, very hard to watch. Kind of reminiscent of the scene in Spider-Man Homecoming where he's trapped under the rubble and you realize he's just a kid. That this really isn't fair at all. So that moment was really a big gut punch as well. And yeah, we're left on Titan with just Tony and Nebula, the two survivors there. So Tony is still in space with Nebula of all people, and the other original Avengers are on Earth with Rocket. So there you go. There's your surviving members right at the end. And the final scene of the movie is Thanos just sat down, presumably healed from the wound from Thor's hammer, or Thor's axe / hammer Stormbreaker, watching the sunset and credits. And as like the main credits go up, we see Avengers Infinity War pop up on the screen, and then it just fades to dust, and we have the saddest version of the Avengers theme just playing at this. And it's just basic credits going up. Just black background, white letters. And the saddest freaking music ever. And that's how it ends. There's no but wait moment at all there. So any general people going in and watching this movie and not thinking about the after credits scene, like, that's it. The movie ends with the bad guy winning, half of the heroes killed off. It's just mind-blowing what they did, and for me personally, I wanted to record this like review the night when I got back from Infinity War, because I thought, oh man, this is going to be awesome, it's going to be great, I'm going to be able to record this and get it up ASAP. But it took me time to process this. Even after seeing it a second time, I was still, whoa, like, holy crap. Even a second time viewing the movie, I could not believe it. I'm going back for a third time, possibly a fourth time. Who knows, maybe a fifth and sixth time as well. But yeah, amazing job they did on this movie. Kudos to the Russo brothers for doing this, for having the absolute fortitude to end this movie the way they did, because if you didn't know there was a Avengers 4 coming next year, you'd be like, holy crap, did they just end the Marvel Cinematic Universe this way with the bad guy winning? Like, the last line you see from the people on Earth is you hear on Earth comes from Captain America, and he's going, oh god, where they realize, yeah, bad guy won. So that was great. Then we get to the after credits scene where we see Colby Smulders back again as Maria Hill and Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury driving down the road. They're like trying to locate Tony Stark through satellites, having no luck whatsoever. And a van just like skids across the road in front of them. They stop. She gets out to go check to see if they're okay. There's nobody there. And they turn around and they see a helicopter just like falling out of the sky and crashing into a building. And this is where this scene really hits home how scary and what a world-shattering event just happened, because Thanos just wiped out half of the universe, which means 3.7 billion people just faded off the planet Earth. Like, half the Earth's population is now gone, and that is like, holy fuck type of moment. And Samuel Jackson like goes to pull something out of his bag in the back seat, turns, sees Maria Hill fading. He pulls it out, pulls a pager out of the bag, manages to hit it anyway, as he starts fading away, and we finally get Sam Jackson saying, mother before fading out. So, we almost got the classic Samuel L. Jackson line of motherfucker in a Marvel movie. The pager falls to the ground, and we see like sending ... just flashing on there before the Captain Marvel logo pops up on there with red and blue and the gold star in the center. It's like, holy shit. This is a big moment for her, and really hits home like how important she is, how powerful she is, because the attack on New York, Fury didn't feel the need to contact her. The attack by Ultron, Fury didn't feel the need to contact her there. But this event where Tony Stark now is nowhere to be found, isn't really made clear if he knows what's going on in Wakanda or not. But this event, whatever's happening, like people disappearing, fading into nothingness, he's like, holy shit, it's time to go code red and contact Captain Marvel. And I was excited for the Captain Marvel movie before because I love that character. I've collected comics. I have a statue. I'm trying to collect a couple more statues of her. But yeah, I'm even more excited now for her movie next year. And Ant-Man and the Wasp looks great, and it's going to fill us in on what they were doing before. And I'm sure the after credits scene is going to be something like Hank Pym just fading away, and them trying to figure out what's going on. So that's awesome. That's cool. And yeah, it's going to be a long wait until I think May 3rd, 2019 for the next Avengers movie. We're like literally a year away, 365 days right now until that movie. And yeah, cannot wait to see that now. So yeah, Avengers Infinity War, that's my thought. So that's my thoughts. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this video and listening to me ramble on for like half an hour over how fantastic this movie was. So, with that, thank you for watching. I have been Lord X. You have been awesome. And I'll catch you guys next time. Sweet rabbit. God, that line was good. And Red Skull!